Hey, what's up guys, aarava here, and welcome back to an episode of my F1 2019 career mode, episode number 76 today for the Hungarian Grand Prix in Season 4. If you guys didn't miss the previous one, then be sure to go check that one out before you see this one. That was an epic comeback drive from us. A lot of drama in that race as well, but, we made the most of it, basically, and I think that's going to help us out there. That last race might be very important for the championship if it goes down to the wire, but as it stands, Perez still has a decent mark ahead of us. But a big positive that came out of that race was Lewis Hamilton finally got his very first race win for the team this season here. We've got now 2 wins as a team overall, which kind of feels weird because I feel like we've had more than only 2 wins, but we've only had the 2. My one at the Spanish Grand Prix, of course, and then Hamilton was able to dominate the last GP. But off the back at that race, I really hope that this is the start maybe now of our car maintaining some race pace during the race rather than losing it after a decent qualifying here. And we're going to need it at Hungary because it's one of those races where it's a very tough race. Traffic is a big issue, and also tyre wear, and especially the tyre heating of the carcass temperatures is a massive issue around here. Like, if you blow the tyre too early, you're basically done for the entire stint. So hopefully that won't be too much of a worry for us today, but you never know. But first and foremost, obviously have to go out there and do the job over 1 lap in qualifying. Let's get into it then and go towards Q1.
Good afternoon, race fans, and here we are again for qualifying at the Hungaroring. Who will have tuned the perfect setup for their car? We'll find out soon. It always looked like the kind of track that asks an awful lot of the rear tyres, such as the frequency of low-speed exits.
No matter how good a driver is at managing their throttle application to limit rear slip, they can't always overcome a car that's inherently bad at looking after its rear tyres. Here we have a lot of low-speed corner exits, which means a whole load of energy, heat and tyre wear.
So going into then the first qualifying session of the afternoon then, our first flying lap in Q1, the car feeling pretty damn decent, especially Sector 2. I will say the car does feel like on rails when you get the lines right, so I have a good feeling that our car should be competitive. You can see straight away there, up into P3 as we end this session. Hamilton right up there with us in P4. The Red Bulls, of course, 1, 2, they do look strong. Red Bull obviously naturally would, but you would kind of pick them to be strong here at the Hungaroring. It seems the Racing Point cars have lost a little bit of pace, and McLarens as well, potentially, so it might just be a scrap between us Red Bulls, the Red Bulls and us Mercedes cars, but obviously Hamilton was the one that did the job last time and out-qualified me at the German Grand Prix. Hopefully we can be right up there with him this time and not make the same mistakes we did at Hockenheim. In Q2 we go a little bit slower than Hamilton's got some time to find there. He's right up there though, splitting the 2 Red Bulls with Butler and Gasly 1 and 3 instead. So now I've got to try and find that time up and make sure we're up there with him and we're right there trying to split the Red Bull. So here we go. Devin Butler sets the fastest time of the session so far in Q3 in the top 10 shootout here. As we come through, you can see Sector 2, the car really hooking up very nicely on the rear end there. No real major snaps of oversteer and no understeer really. The front end also biting in. So we come through. Hamilton has just gone provisional pole. We go across the line for P2 at the moment there. We're 300ths of a second slower than Hamilton as it stands there, and it's a 1-2 for Mercedes right now as it is. Gasly P3, Butler P4. We go for our second flying lap. At the moment, we're only gaining a marginal amount of time there in Sector 1. Sector 2, we went purple. Sector 3, we're a little bit up on our time. We're down to P4 now. Across the line, what's it going to be for us? It's going to be P3 in the end. Hamilton does indeed keep the pole position there. Gasly P2, so we do get involved. We do split the Red Bulls there. Lost a bit of time to Hamilton though, and so once again, he's shown in recent episodes, he's finally picking up his pace a little bit there and actually doing the business for Mercedes. And like last episode, obviously he dominated the Grand Prix, so I'm a little bit wary. This is a little bit scary that, he's building this momentum for us as obviously in an inter-team battle sense. Hopefully he doesn't build up too much momentum and he's like dominating me basically, but at the moment he does have, I gotta admit, this speed over 1 lap over me here. It's only a marginal bit of speed, but it still makes a difference from P1 to P3, but happy to be there. Sergio Perez is in P5, so he's done a decent job to be right up there, the championship leader. But the likes of Hulkenberg out of, he didn't even make it through into the top 10 shootout there, and it looks like also Verstappen struggled in P9, way down in P6, so the other championship contenders struggling here. So I think it's going to be a bit of a power struggle between Red Bull v Mercedes. Maybe Perez gets involved, hopefully not though, for the sake of the championship, of closing that gap up, but we'll just have to see how it goes on Sunday. So let's go to the grid and see how we do.
It's always wonderful to come back to the lively Hungaroring. A popular destination this, nice and close to the beautiful city of Budapest, with some exciting racing to boot. Who can forget Michael Schumacher pushing his old teammate Rubens Barrichello up towards the pit wall in 2010, or those great races of 2014 and 2015 as well. We're northeast of Budapest for the race today at the 2.7-mile Hungaroring circuit. 14 corners here, 8 to the right and 6 to the left, on a track where downforce is king and passing is notoriously difficult. And it's an absolute pleasure to be joined once again by Anthony Davidson. Let's talk about the engineer. What do you make of their performance so far this season?
It's been a really solid year so far. There have been some incredible standout performances, but what's really impressed me has been the consistency. With this kind of form, I'm expecting another great race today.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. An immense lap from Lewis Hamilton yesterday puts him on pole position with Pierre Gasly alongside. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have the engineer, Butler, Sergio Perez, and Faber, Leclerc, Norris, Giovinazzi, and Nico Hülkenberg, Fiat, Vettel, Lance Stroll, and Grosjean, Ricciardo, Magnussen, George Russell, and Valtteri Bottas. Verstappen and Kimi Raikkonen finishes off the grid, and with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
Alright, so here we are then. It is race day and we're on the second row of the grid right behind our teammate Lewis Hamilton there, who is on pole position. In terms of the race strategy, it's either a 1 or a 2 stop today. You can see the 2 stop is only apparently about 2 seconds slower, and with how the tyres have been behaving for us so far this season, our car seems to favour the softer compounded tyre. I don't fancy going on the hards. I honestly think it's going to be such a terrible tyre for this specific car, this Mercedes that's maxed out, that I'm going to go for the 2 stop, which usually I wouldn't go for on this game, on this track, because the traffic is horrendous, but I really think we'll actually be faster getting through the traffic on faster compounded tyres than going on the hards. It's going to be a bit of a gamble, but I think in order to try and take on Hamilton, who seems to have, become a bit of a Hamilton 2.0 really as a recent, kind of, pick up the pace in the recent few episodes, I think we have to try something new, try a bit of a gamble and see how it goes, basically, and just try something new, basically. And obviously, we had some very good pace last episode at Germany, so I'm hoping that we can pull that out again, out the bag in the race. So we're going to go for the 2 stop. It might not work out, but I want to go for it. And so with that, we're going to get towards the race then and go towards 5 red lights for the Hungarian Grand Prix just before the sun break for the season here from P3 on the grid. 5 lights are out and we're underway. It's initially a good getaway, then bogging down quite a fair bit in gears 3 and 4 there. A lot of wheel spin, and Devin Butler gets a great start there to pull alongside and overtake me. In fact, we go very defensive to the inside for turn 1 then and tried to cover off Sergio Perez and I believe Leclerc in the Toro Rosso there, but Perez gets a great exit. The man leading the championship by about 19 points is now trying to go around my outside. We're going to try and squeeze him out there on purpose, try and send him wide, and it's going to work out because Leclerc gets down the inside as well as a Renault there as well, and so Perez goes down 3 positions instead of gaining 1. Hamilton though leads the way. He's had a great start there into turn 1 there, and so Hamilton, well, for the team sec, I guess, I think they'll be wanting him to kind of check out this Grand Prix like he did the German GP. Hopefully for me, he can try and hold up the 2 Red Bulls and we can all bunch up together. But as we move on to the end of lap number 2 onto lap number 3, DRS enabled now, we're pulling away quite a fair bit from Leclerc. You can see that the gap is quite large actually to Leclerc in P5, but I am not really making any gains on Butler or Gasly there. You can see Gasly is closing up to Hamilton, pressurizing him for the lead of the Grand Prix. Butler's kind of a little bit further back, and then I just can't get on the back of Butler, and I'm feeling like the tyres are already starting to cook a little bit. As we move on to lap number 4 then, my team is already asking me to change strategy, and in the moment I said yes to changing onto a 1 stop onto mediums, because I didn't really see how I could pull off a 2 stop if I had this kind of pace. But then by the time we get to the end of lap number 5, my tyres were done for. Like, the fronts are absolutely cooked here. The internal carcass temperatures are so high. Right now they don't look too bad on the front right there. They're really bad on the front left. But in Sector 2, they're basically blazing up to brick red in Sector 2. So the front end has no grip. You can see the amount of understeer I'm getting into turn 1. And I'm just losing about a second now to Butler and especially Gasly and Hamilton, the leaders there. So I come in on lap 6 and we're going to convert back to a 2 stop. There's no way I can do the 1 stop here and actually be able to challenge for the podium position. I know it seems like a bit of a futile effort being that far back from Butler and the race leaders to do a 2 stop now, but honestly I think it's worth the gamble. I just don't see how there's any way I can get a podium on a 1 stop with that kind of pace. At least with a 2 stop, maybe if we can pray that they get stuck in traffic or they have to, you know, they fight each other too much. Gasly and Hamilton go side by side too much for the race lead. Maybe that's how we can get back into the Grand Prix. I don't know, but right now, my gut's just telling me we have to go for the 2-stop because the tyre, I just don't have the tyre wear for it. Maybe Hamilton does, but I definitely do not. I really just did not gel with the soft tyres there at the very start of the Grand Prix on heavy fuel. So now we're on a fresh set of mediums in last place in P20, such as the small field spread of the grid that you can make a pit stop early and come to the back end. We make a very aggressive move on Raikkonen in the Alfa Romeo. They're down the inside, getting on the curb and the grass a little bit there. We're going to have to be this aggressive the entire race long, really. As like I said, traffic is an issue here around Hungary. Dirty air is an issue. And if we want to have this 2-stop work in any kind of way, we just need to get past these guys very quickly and treat this like a last question mark challenge kind of video, sort of. So here we go now. The move on Ricciardo, easily done in a straight line up into P16. Then we've got a gaggle of about 4 cars there of Russell, Bottas, and then 2 others ahead. And we're going to join them in Sector 2, purple first sector. We're going to dive down the inside of Ricciardo. It's a very, very aggressive move there as we get over the curbing and ride it like a skateboard there. Around the outside we go to finish off the move on Ricciardo. Russell, sorry, rather. Ricciardo we already got, of course, on the main straight there, but we've got both Ferraris in swift one foul swoop. And now we close up to Valtteri Bottas, Magnussen, Lance Stroll. They're all fighting. Look at the Williams car go on the left-hand side. We go dive down the inside of 1, 2, 3 cars nearly to make it 3 wide. They had to do a bit of lawn mowing there on the inside as well to make the space for us to go 3 wide through that corner, which usually is quite difficult to make 2 wide, let alone 3 wide, but we make it work and we make a 4-man overtake in the span of 2 corners and 1 small straight, and we get away then from them up into P12. We'll now make up some positions as some people are now in the pit stops there for their first and only pit stop of the afternoon, because you can see there a lot of them on hard tyres. We're now catching up to some other runners like Sebastian Vettel, who are yet to pit in this Grand Prix, but already P9. Decent amount of clean air, I would say, sort of. You can see in the second sector we've gone purple again, so when we are in clean air we are going very well. Clearly we're going a lot faster than we were in that first stint there, so I still think this is going pretty okay for now. Just need to make sure we keep up the pace and keep getting past these cars. You can see one of them comes in the pit lane there, so that's 1 free position we don't need to worry about now in this stint, and we get really close now to Sebastian Vettel getting a great amount of traction off the last corner. DRS open, ERS gone on overtake mode, rich mix flowing as well to the inside. Vettel squeezes quite aggressively there, so we squeeze him back to the left hand side and push him back towards the racing line. I don't know what on earth he was playing at. I mean, he's on a completely different strategy, but tried to make the most of it there, I guess. But we're now on to lap 11, and look at this. We've closed up to Devon Butler then. We're up into P6, and so we're closing up on P5, and this is effectively for P3, remember, because Butler was in P3, Gasly was P2, and Hamilton was leading the Grand Prix. I believe he's still leading the Grand Prix as it stands, but now we make the move on Devon Butler on the right-hand side. Very easy overtake in a straight line with DRS there, but I'm sure obviously he's on the 1-stop on a set of hard tyres. There's no point of him fighting it too much, because I still have to do a mound of work to now get a whole pit stop ahead of him, to come out ahead of him, so that's easier said than done. It's early days though in the stint. We're only in lap 13, we pit on lap 6, so we've got a long way to go, probably pitting around lap 20 I would say for that last pit stop here. So here we come now, closing up on Hulkenberg and Kvyat. Now this is interesting because Hulkenberg in the championship fight here, but he didn't qualify too well, and he's doing an alternative strategy here, and we have a little look to the inside as we got up the hill to the blind crest of the left-hander there. Don't make the move though. Instead we're going to set up this move as we go up the hill then, and he's going to squeeze us. Look at that, the amount of little space he gives us there on the right-hand side there. Really made me work for the position, but we get it done. It's a sweet overtake there, probably the best one of the day so far. Up into P4, we held our way through on the right-hand side and didn't give up there, and the same again with Kvyat. Can we try and make the move here on the left-hand side, maybe around the outside now? The Russian gets his elbows out, and we nearly get forced off into the bollard, the foam board of the brake zones there, and so we have to live to fight for another day through the last corner on the inner lap 14 there. So the Russian giving up a very good fight there and being very annoying to my entire race plan here, but here we go, finally DRS open. We're going to get him as we wobble around. We're going to be very aggressive, cut across him and get to the inside for turn 1, just to make sure he doesn't have any kind of a chance to make the move down the inside. And now we have an acre of clean space to try and chase after Pierre Gasly in P2. He's fast up the Grand Prix, but we've got some decent pace in the car. Like I said, this car in clean air has got the pace. Clearly that was shown at the German GP last summer, and so we're going to wind up that pace. And so by the time we get to lap number 19 then, 4 laps later, we've been pumping in some decent lap times here. Gasly slowed down after he initially set the fast lap of the Grand Prix, and we're there now, closing up to the Frenchman here for P2. Remember though, I still have to make one more pit stop in this Grand Prix, so although it's looking pretty good, we're close to Gasly and Hamilton on track right now. I'm on a completely different strategy to them, so that's why I'm going faster right now. That's why I'm feeling pretty good. We go around the outside there, and it's a great move on Gasly there, and you can see just the grip difference between the mediums and the hards is paying massive dividends right now, and the car just suits the softer compound much more. So we move on to lap 21, only 2 laps later, and we're already closing up to Hamilton, and that's how quick we're going on this set of tyres. The hards are horrendous, like I said. They may go the distance, but they are just very slow race tyres here, especially at the Hungarian GP. So we're now closing up on our teammate. Of course, he's not going to do anything stupid, I don't think. He knows that he has a very good chance to win this Grand Prix. I'm trying my best to maybe fight back at the Red Bulls. Realistically, I hope I can maybe try and jump Butler. Maybe have half a chance of getting Gasly then this Grand Prix, maybe, but I don't think we'll be anywhere near Hamilton, maybe, because Hamilton's got quite a good gap now to Gasly from P1 to P2. It used to be quite small, but now through this stint, you can see the gap's grown. So I don't know about Hamilton. I don't really know about Gasly either. I'm just hoping we can definitely get Butler by the end of this Grand Prix. But here we go now, the move on Hamilton to take the race lead there. Hamilton squeezed us a little bit, so we just squeeze him back there. Very nice camera shot indeed, seeing the two Mercs side by side for the lead of the Grand Prix. But alas, it's not really going to be a real lead for the Grand Prix, because we're going to just have to pit again and go down the order, of course. But right now, the plan is on lap 22, just go as long as we can and hard as we can. And to be fair, the pace feels pretty good. These tyres don't feel too worn out. The tyre wear definitely is there, but they've still got some life in them. And you can see as we go on to lap 26, we set a red first sector, but the second sector, it felt pretty good. You can see the car still looking pretty hooked up. No understeer, no oversteer, and it's a purple second sector there. So almost like Hamilton's shown in real life, you know, a la the British Grand Prix in real life in 2019, where he set that fast lap of the Grand Prix on like on the very second last lap of the GP, where he had been in those tyres for so long in the Grand Prix. I'm kind of doing the same right now at Hungary. It's very, very odd. It was a very odd feeling, but the pace was still there in the tyres. Despite the tyre wear being there, they still had some life to give, and we set the fast lap of the Grand Prix on lap 27. I will say, though, on the next lap, lap 28, you can see I merely then go slower by about 3/10 there. So straight away, the life just went out of them. So I guess I took the life out of them that lap, and then I just didn't have any more. So I'm going to come in now on this lap, lap 28, and I'm going to pit on to a set of used soft tyres, because we've only got 7 laps left of this Grand Prix. I've done such a mega second stint there to pull away from Hamilton and get about 7 seconds on him there, that I thought, you know what, we may as well go on a set of used softs. They're not going to be too worn out. 7 laps, lower fuel. They should go better than the 6 laps we did at the start of the Grand Prix. I believe that was really only a case of a heavy car on those tyres. With a light car now, I think we should be fine to get the end of the Grand Prix. As we go down the pit lane then, watch on the right-hand side, where on earth is the Red Bull going to be of Devin Butler? As we come out then, there he is. And so we do jump the Red Bull outright for P3 in this Grand Prix. It's been a mega second stint to get ahead of Devin Butler outright there. Don't even have to overtake him on track to get the position there. So we already made this strategy work out for us to get a podium, remembering back to where we were on the first few laps there. So that's mega for me. And now we just go full pelt, full beans, and try to see what we can do. Can we catch Gasly? Let's just give it some and see if we can. And about a lap and a half later, we are looking very decent indeed. That is Pierre Gasly in P2. We have closed up to him so rapidly here, because this new fast lap of the Grand Prix we're about to set is going to be about a second faster. And you've got to think, also, obviously, Gasly on hard tyres is probably going about a second slower than that previous lap I set. So basically, we're catching him about 2 seconds a lap here. So we've closed him down in a matter of 2-3 laps here on lap 31. Here we go now, having to be a little bit patient in sector 2, but wanting to get the job done as eagerly as we can here. So we're going to try and wind up the move and do a very similar move to the one we did on Hulkenberg. Here we go down the inside. Gasly almost squeezes us through as he locks up on the front right, but we get the job done there. He's defenseless, and so we're up into P2 of the Hungarian GP. It's a 1-2 now for Mercedes there. Mega day for me in terms of coming back after such a disastrous first stint, you know, being way off the pace in that first stint. The second stint was mega. This last stint, it's been such a joy to drive this quickly with this car, and so we've made it work for the team, so hopefully done the team proud. And now we just try and push as hard as we can, try and close the gap to Hamilton. It is a little bit big though, so I don't realistically think we're going to catch him and be able to make a move for first place, but at least we try and keep him honest and kind of at least show him that, you know, he's dominated 2 Grand Prix now in a row, but we've got the pace to be there. And so next time, third time round, next episode at the Belgian Grand Prix, if he is going to have the same sort of pace, I'm going to be right there with him hopefully, and make sure he's not building this kind of worrying momentum that's going to kind of dominate us basically as it kind of in the inter-team battle here. So we just push on and try and do the best job we can. And so 2 laps later, by the time we get to the second last lap of the Grand Prix, we're closing up the gap to about 5 seconds, I would say, to Hamilton there. We got yellow flags up ahead though for some reason, and oh my god, no. No, you're joking me. Hamilton, I think Hamilton's got an issue. Hamilton going slowly. Hamilton is out. Hamilton's out of the Hungarian Grand Prix. And we take the lead on the second last lap of the GP. This is unbelievable. That is so gutting for Hamilton. And it's crazy for me. That's such a bittersweet sort of win, really, because Hamilton dominated that race. He deserved to win that one. I'll put my hand up. I did not have the pace for that in the first stint, so I didn't deserve to go on to win this Grand Prix, even on the amazing 2-stop we did with that mega stint 2. But unbelievable. You could not write this stuff. Hamilton retires on the second last lap of the Grand Prix after a mega comeback drive for us on the 2-stop. And so we come home for P1, our second win of the season at the Hungarian Grand Prix. But it's a very weird feeling, I must say. It's a very odd, it's not one that I'm amazingly proud of, but it's a win nonetheless.
Great job, you've done everything we wanted today.
That's it for another Grand Prix and a fantastic win for Mercedes. Tell me, Ant, how did they manage to achieve this win?
Well, this was a real team victory. They put together a solid strategy today that appeared well suited to the conditions out on track. The driver did everything that was expected of them in the moment to really execute the team's plan to perfection, a shining example of how F1 really is a team sport.
And I can see the drivers starting to approach the podium for the victory celebrations. A real team victory today. Everybody played their part. Congratulations then to Mercedes, your race winners today.
So there we go. For the second time in 2019, a Mercedes car wins at the Hungarian Grand Prix with an extra pit stop on their rivals there, but it's not the way I thought that was going to happen. Absolutely shocked still. Absolute shell shock. And now we're 2 points off the championship lead there, and that massive lead Perez had has been eroded completely, and so the fight is back on, and it's actually now me and him that have got both a massive gap to Gasly then, but so gutting. Hamilton's so far off myself in the championship, and he really shouldn't. That should have been his victory. It should have been 2 wins in a row for him. He did so well in that race to dominate that one. So I do feel very, very sorry. It's not often I do feel bad for my teammate when they do badly or something happens to them, but that genuinely should have been his win. I was going to be very, very chuffed with P2 because that was a mega drive for us in stint 2. The pace we had on the mediums was crazy. To be able to get Gasly at the end like that was awesome. And I was happy to get the 1-2, but wow, mechanical failure for Hamilton. That's just such a shame. That's why I've been banging on to Cody's that we need random failures for the player, because that would never happen to me. That would never happen to me in normal circumstances. So it's just a big shame for him and for the team, I guess, to lose the 1-2. But there you go. We get our second win of the season then. Like I said at the start of the episode, though, I can't believe it's only our second win, because I feel like it's felt like we've been a top car and we should have, we've won 3-4 races, but we've only won 2. And it's actually been a bit of a kind of more consistent season ever since we became a top team. And the kind of few races at the beginning of the season where we weren't a top team feel like a very distant past, basically. But we come through to the end of the episode then. We're going to go ahead and purchase some more reliability upgrades, since that's still an issue with our car. And of course, we don't have anything else to upgrade. You can see we're already getting to some very worn parts. So next episode, the Belgium Grand Prix, I definitely will need to take at least 1 engine penalty, I think, for the energy components, for the electrical components. So we'll have to see about that once we get to qualifying there and assess the situation. But wow, what an insane Hungarian Grand Prix. That is such a fairy tale race there. The way we, really had a horrible first stint, had to bail out onto a 2-stop early on, mega comeback through the traffic, great pace then to overtake everyone and pump in some great lap times at the end of the second stint, come onto soft tyres, get ahead of Butler, overtake Gasly then like that, and then insane. Second last lap of the Grand Prix. Second last lap. And that's when we get the race lead after a failure for our teammate on a mechanical failure or engine failure, whatever it was. And crazy. That's how we get the win. Insane stuff. Guys, if you did enjoy the episode, be sure to smash the like button. Let me know what you thought of that Grand Prix. If you're new around here, subscribe for weekly full-on content. I've been aarava. Hope you enjoyed today. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.